Good evening, everyone. Um, no, it's not Pat Jones. He didn't lose a lot of weight. It's his little sidekick, Rick Silva. Here, I'm your state legislative guy, alternate state legislative guy for Chicago A.B.A.T.E of the chapter in Chicago. I want to start by saying thank you, Pat, for having me host for today's show. I know you're absent. You have a lot of pressing things to do, and you're a very busy individual. So, that being said, again, we're going to start with the mission of A.B.A.T.E of Illinois. The mission of A.B.A.T.E of Illinois is to preserve the universal right to a safe, unrestricted motorcycle environment, and the purpose to advocate actions that can be taken by elected and appointed officials to protect and conserve the natural resources of the state of Illinois, and ensure through professional management that sustainable use, recreational opportunities, and enjoyment of these resources are available for this and future generations. A.B.A.T.E of Illinois, what does that mean? A.B.A.T.E of Illinois is a brotherhood aimed towards education. We're here to educate the public on motorcycle awareness as far as things that are going down in the state. We do a lot of lobbying in Springfield. We have our state legislative coordinators, who happens to be Josh Witkowski. I think that's how you pronounce his name. If I messed it up, sorry, Josh. He is an awesome guy that's been down there heading a lot of things for us to make sure that bills such as passengers that ride motorcycles or children who are on bikes. At one time, it was illegal for them to ride in the back because their feet didn't touch the foot pegs and so forth. In the old days, where people would put the kids on the front of the motorcycles, which is very safety concern. They can't be on the front; they got to be in the back, and it almost made them illegal for them to be able to ride in on the back of a motorcycle because their feet didn't touch. So he worked out some laws with help from many representatives and many people who put their opinion in to try to get that squared away, and that happened to go through and things like that. And he has an awesome YouTube channel. If you get on it for A.B.A.T.E of Illinois, you can see those videos, and it keeps you up to date and informed on things that's going on throughout the state. Again, thank you, Josh. A.B.A.T.E of Illinois is a non-for-profit organization that allows all riders to unite in a brotherhood aimed towards education. A.B.A.T.E works on safeguards of our motorcycle rights, clinging to motorcycle rights, while allowing us to be individuals with different views. There's a lot of things that we do. Our meeting place for the Chicago chapter is in Chicago. We have our meetings at 3519 West Fullerton, which happens to be the Llama Clubhouse. We are so grateful for them to allow us. I want to thank the president for allowing us to have these meetings. There was a time during the beginning of this pandemic where we couldn't meet because the places that we were going to apparently closed down and we couldn't have anybody in there. We did a lot of Zoom meetings and such, and we wanted it to get out there to the public that we're back in business. Pat notified the president of the Llama chapter in Chicago and said would it be possible to hold the meetings there, and they said it was a good thing. So our meetings they continue to be on Wednesday, the third Wednesday of the month at 7 o'clock. So that being said, come out and join. You get some refreshments and so forth. We have some music they play and stuff like that. So it's a fun time. I want to give a little bit of a summary of what A.B.A.T.E does every year. At the beginning of the year, like maybe around December or in the fall of the previous year, they come out with an agenda of the topics of the things they're going to cover throughout the year for the following year. So it's an agenda that's set up. It's a legislative agenda, and this is just going to read out for 2021, and this is since we're in the middle of 2021. Some of these things are on there, and I'll give you a little more detail on some of it. Off-road. We also protect riders of off-road riders, which motorcyclists and ATVs and the little dirt bikes and state parks that we protect. A.B.A.T.E will continue to support and monitor the development of off-road parks in Illinois and protect the Off-Highway Vehicle Trails Fund to help spur the more recreational off-road trails. We will oppose any mandates on protective equipment for off-highway vehicles and any municipal bans on the operation of OHVs. A.B.A.T.E will monitor laws affecting side-by-side UTVs and make sure they will not affect ATVs and dirt bikes. This will include conversations between off-road groups and county officials regarding the use of highways where we will remain neutral. A.B.A.T.E will work better, define sizes of off-road, off-highway vehicles, working with industry professionals to establish a classification for larger vehicles. Now, this is important to, not so much up here in our part of Illinois. Down south in southern Illinois, there's a lot of off-road vehicles where, kids like to ride their dirt bikes and so forth. So we need to protect their rights and make sure that nobody abuses those lands, and the monies that are paid to the DNR for the little sticker that they put on their bike, and helps protect those rights for them to be able to enjoy that park without any issues. Motorcycles. A.B.A.T.E will continue to support the freedom of riders to choose if they want to wear protective gear. Again, meaning helmets. It's always been our strong suit to protect the rider. Again, this is America, and we feel that it's the choice of the individual whether or not you want to wear a helmet. We're not saying that you shouldn't wear a helmet, but it's just up to you. We do not want the state to mandate that you need to wear a helmet. It's your choice. You're the adult, and you will decide whether or not you wear a helmet. Again, the same with leather jackets or long pants or boots. And, typically wearing long boots makes sense because you don't want to twist an ankle, because a lot of these bikes, are, 800 pounds plus, some of them, unless you drive a trike, and it's different. But in most cases, you don't want to sprain an ankle. You always wear protective hand gear for in case something does happen. Most riders wear denim jeans, and some of them wear their a thicker denim where it keeps you warm sometimes, and it helps protect your legs. And from time to time, you will hit the muffler with your leg when you put your feet down. So it's your choice. We fight legislation when they want to mandate that you need to wear a helmet, and we have a strong group that's always behind us to make sure that these senators and representatives in the state of Illinois listen to our point of view. This is what we do. So, profiling. A.B.A.T.E opposes any motorcycle-only checkpoints and continues to work with anti-profiling legislation. This happened to us, I want to say maybe about 5-6 years ago, where the state of Illinois had given a grant to this Illinois State Police to stop only motorcycles. The Chicago chapter was on our way up north, up to medieval times at the time, and it was funny that, all the state police officers were pulling over motorcycles only on the way up to that event up in by Racine, Wisconsin, in that area. And why? They wanted to they got a grant to stop them. You can't do that. If you're going to stop motorcycles because you think some of these riders don't have any licenses, then you got to stop people in cars for the same thing. So you cannot pick on motorcycles. If it's one, no, it's got to be on everybody, like truck drivers, everybody. Because I know they were complaining that a lot of people who ride motorsports, crotch rockets and speed bikes like that, they don't have licenses. But that you can't just signal out motorcycles. The other thing, ethanol. A.B.A.T.E will continue to oppose tax credits for E15 and above blends. These credits cause an expansion of the fuels which crowd out E0 and E10 blends. We will continue to push for labels on E15 and E85 pumps clear to make them as unsafe for motorcycles, and push for dedicated pumps for E15 and E85 fuels. Correct labeling isn't clear in the fact using anything above E10 is a violation of federal law. Plus, this would eliminate blend pumps that can drop up to 4 gallons of E15 and E85 in your tank when you think you're getting E15, E10, or E0. Now, the thing is with that is that some of these places are, you share a pump with that type of fuel and regular fuel. a lot of times there's residual fuel left in the hoses. So when you go to pump that and somebody came in their car or whatever and they filled up their car with that fuel, you go ahead and you come up behind them and you pump that, some of that residual go in your tank, and it's not good for small engines and motorcycle. It's not proven that it is going to protect it. So uh, we have a problem with that because a lot of times the warranties, when you take your bike back to the dealer or this guy that you had him fixed it for you, he's going to charge you again to clean it all out. So it's really unfair. So we want a little better labeling or separate the pumps where none of those issues can happen. Another thing that we do have is Cycle Rider Training Fund. A.B.A.T.E will protect the trust fund paid for by Illinois motorcyclists to fund MSF courses and monitoring funding levels. Now, what does that entail? That is a part of A.B.A.T.E of Illinois that we do is where and I think we're the only state that does this, where you can sign up at this place right here. Let me go over Headcam. It's startseeingmotorcycles.org. And what it is, it's a thing that's set up through the school system, through the colleges and so forth, and some of the DMVs, where you can take classes on learning how to ride a motorcycle. I know a lot of you guys must know already how to ride a motorcycle, but have not yet passed the examination to get that M class or the M endorsement. The state of Illinois, when you register your motorcycle and you pay for your license plates on it, a portion of that money goes into a fund, and that fund pays the instructors to take their time on the weekends to show you how to ride those motorcycles. I'm not sure if there's another state that does this, but we are the ones that I know for a fact that when you go through the class, you're taught on book and also on riding. You don't have to bring your own bike. They give you a helmet or bring your own helmet. But you go through the whole class, and by the end of the thing, once you're done, and the instructor feels that you are capable of managing that motorcycle, he will give you a certificate. It'll come in the mail. The class only costs, it's a donation of $20. It's a donation. So when that goes through, you'll get a certificate in the mail that says all you need to do is go to the DMV, show them that little piece of paper, and you're done. You'll get your picture with your driver's license, and it'll say D&M on it, the endorsement for the class. Now, the classes do book up quickly, and this year in February, they went like crazy. So it was hard to get in them. So as best you can get one, go to startseeingmotorcycles.org. They probably still have some available. So do the best you can to sign up and get that taken care of. And a lot of times insurance companies do give you that. They also go through the motorcycle book, which is filled with all kinds of questions and so forth. I'm not sure if they use this particular book. You don't need a permit to attend those classes, but it is recommended if you do have one, you have one. But you don't need one because you're going through the class and you're going to be in there. So that's what the Cycle Rider Training Fund is. And then, we don't want no one to take it away from us because all those monies are allocated to pay those instructors who pass on their knowledge to their students to make sure everything is, so they get their classes. Autonomous vehicles. We oppose any deployment of driverless cars and semis without appropriate safeguards for motorcycle safety, and to continue to participate in industry and regulatory discussions to get our concerns with these technologies addressed, including helping to develop new technology to assist motorcycle safety. Autonomous vehicles. These are these cars that drive by themselves. With the aid of a person in the car, a car can travel at its own speed and knows the route that you might be going. I don't know if it's programmed or not, but we have heard in the past that sometimes some of these vehicles, they can see a larger vehicle in front and they reduce the speed. But sometimes with motorcycles, it's not a big vehicle, and we don't want nothing to happen to anybody that's riding, because if that does happen, again, every motorcycle is a mother, a father, a grandfather, a brother, or a sister to somebody. So this is the concerns that we have as motorcyclists, and as people in the position to help legislate this and push the word out and make it people aware of these things. So it's important to us because we care about you and your freedoms on a motorcycle. I mean, it's our choice. We want to go out there and have a good time. Uh, A.B.A.T.E and MRF will seek partnerships with the new administration to seek federal oversight of autonomous vehicle testing with motorcycles. We will work to preserve needed airways for vehicle communications. Okay, LED lighting. It's another subject. LED lighting. Most motorcycles, if you ever ride behind one and it gets close in the evening, it's in the dark, they might have a little tail light in the back that's red. Maybe the little red lights or the orange lights for turn signals. Not many bikes have a lot of visual light. Me, personally, I put lights on all my bike, completely in the back, because I want to be seen from people coming towards them and me for them coming behind me. So I've also have lights on the sides. These are LEDs that you can purchase. They're aftermarket things that you put on the engine to make it look nice and beautiful, and it's something that you like. Apparently, some of them were against the law. Certain colors were, and you would get pulled over and get a ticket for that. So um, it's a thing that we as bikers, when we go down to Springfield, we discuss it with our legislative coordinator and say, when you go down to Springfield to do the lobbying with these guys, tell them this is our concern. We want to be able to do this without being harassed. Now they are working with the blue lights because in Illinois the blue and the red are made for emergency vehicles and such. So, but other lights like green lights, yellow lights, or whatever, you can use those. But we're going with some of the blue, and they try to. We're not police officers. We're not trying to pretend we're police officers. We just want to be seen because a lot of times in rural areas, it's so dark that people can't see you. And if they see a little bit more of a light coming down the road, then, oh, look, it's not a UFO. It's a motorcycle. So coming down. So visibility. The point is we want to be visible instead of invisible. A lot of times, that's why we rev up our engines when we're next to a car. You happen to end up in a blind spot, You rev a little bit to make the drivers aware around you that we're there. What do we got? What else we got? TA plates. This is a good one. TA plates. I think in 2019, this bill got passed where it raised up the thing. I think it must have been like 500% increase in trailer plates. And when most of the people come 2020, time to register their trailers, these are the trailers that are 3,000 pounds and under, that you pull behind your bike or that you use to put your bike on top when you're traveling from here to Florida to wherever you want to go. It was ridiculous. The fee was crazy. So something that we mentioned to our state legislative coordinator with Josh, and for the last 19 months he's been working on this, try to reduce the fees. I was watching a YouTube video that he had, and Senate Bill 58 for the trailer plates, effective 2022 of January 2022, the cost for the plates have been put down to $36. Where at one point, it was up to like almost $200 for the plates, and what are you gonna do? You got to pay the fee. But now that it passed, so at January 1, it was sent to the governor, just waiting for him to sign that bill, so we can get it reduced for next year and the years after that. So we'll keep an eye out for those. Again, those are for trailers that have the TA plate that's 3,000 pounds or less. Now, there's some people last year, they were bringing up things and stories that, I can go out and get a commercial plate, a plate that's a BA or some kind of plate that was a lifetime plate. But, and Josh has mentioned, that, he's done all the history on this. I'm not too clear, but I got the gist of it. The gist meaning that if you go ahead and do such a thing with that type of plate, you're subjecting yourself to inspections, because it's the same as the bigger trailers that the semis use and so forth. So if you're mandated to get inspections, get weighed, get this and that, and if you have too many miles or you have a violation in the vehicle, that trailer can't stay. That car that's pulling that trailer, it has to stay where it's at. So you're asking for trouble. I mean, people look at it and they think, that's the easy way. But it's about education, learning how things work. And if you go the easy way, not gonna work for you. You got to do it the right way. So Josh and everybody else who called in to help support this bill, if you do happen to go to ilga.gov, Senate Bill 58, you can see all the people that sponsored that bill. A lot of people, car dealers, everybody was in on it, helping out to support these things. So that being said, the other bill that he was mentioning, House Bill 656, was that motorcycle passenger bill that allows kids to ride in the back as long as they're touching one of the foot pegs on the back, or if you put the foot pegs a little higher for them to touch you, it'll work out. Now, A.B.A.T.E of Illinois has been running strong for a long time. I want to say in the early 80s and probably before. I've been a member probably about 12, no, maybe 16 years now. And to me, it was always a curiosity how things happen in the state with motorcycle stuff and how the laws get passed and so forth. And when got involved with the Chicago A.B.A.T.E, they kind of educated me, and I found it very interesting that things like this can happen, and why we are freer than most states, because we have a group that stands behind our rights. So we look at it. Now, if anybody would like to call in, our number is up there on the screen, Chicago A.B.A.T.E. You can call us at 312-738-1060. Oscar's manning the phones today for me today. I was hoping to have a guest, but he overbooked himself. So next time we'll have him, and hopefully if Pat gives me the pleasure to do the TV show for you guys, I will have maybe a guest or two. You can also find us on Facebook or YouTube, Chicago A.B.A.T.E chapters. Like again, we meet at 3519 West Fullerton. Meetings start at 7 o'clock. It's the third Wednesday of the month. Okay, so let's continue on with shoulder riding. Shoulder riding, it's another thing that's on our agenda. This permits motorcycles to use the shoulder of an intersection or state highway if the traffic on the highway is stopped due to construction or other issues. It allows air-cooled bikes to keep moving and brings them out to potentially pile up a situation. A.B.A.T.E is going to begin discussing about how to bring this practice in Illinois. Now, this just means that if you're on the highway and you're riding, most motorcycles are air-cooled. So, like certain Harleys, now the newer ones, they have radiators and such that keep the engine cool in hot weather. But most of them, when you're riding, it gets kind of hot when you sit in traffic, and everybody hates that part where you're riding. There's traffic. You got to stop, and the heat just comes up, I mean, they make different things for motorcycles, like fans. But, I mean, I bought some. I spent quite a bit of money on it. And the only thing I found with that was that it takes the heat, instead of rising, it blows it to your other leg. And it's very hot on the leg. I mean, my wife, when we ride, she's like, I can't put my foot there because it's so damn hot. So, but, this is designed, want to work something when it's in stop traffic where nobody's moving, that you can possibly ride up on the side and continue on. So maybe it's something that they might look at for us, because it's not permitted, especially when the traffic is moving and you have like bikes cutting through the center lane, or in between on top of the dash, the dotted lines or whatever. That's very unsafe, because all it takes is for one distracted driver, not knowing, because he's not looking in the back and not anticipating somebody coming from the side, and just to move over, knock you down and potentially kill you. So it's better not to do that, and so forth. DUI and suspension of license fatalities. There have been a few fatal wrecks where drivers with multiple suspension, revoked licenses, and driving without a license have caused collisions that killed motorcyclists. These drivers only face jail time if they are drunk at the time, and usually less than 8 years. A.B.A.T.E intends to revise the laws to increase penalties for this crime, because a lot of times, honestly, it's easier to kill somebody on a motorcycle. You pretty much get a slap on the wrist and you're done. Whereas if you intentionally do something to somebody and kill them, well, you might get, the death penalty, or murder one, whatever you want to call it, we've had many instances where we had friends that were motorcyclists, and people are being distracted. They're playing on their phones, or doing this or doing that. There was an instance years ago where a lady was painting her fingernails while she was driving, coming up to a stop sign. There was a lady on a motorcycle, hit her from behind. That's all she wrote. What did the lady get? I think a slap on the wrist. It's not fair. We enjoy riding motorcycles. It's a passion for a lot of us. It's a little freedom that we get. But distracted driving, you can't be doing that. You concentrate on the road. I mean, listen to look at where you're going and be aware of your surroundings. Within A.B.A.T.E, Illinois, we have classes, education classes. We have every chapter is required to have a safety and education coordinator within the chapter who goes out to high schools where the kids are in the sophomore year going through driver's ed. They go out, give them a class, tell them to be aware of that. I know you're anxious to get your driver's license. You're going through driver's ed, and you're learning how to do this. And you got the radio on, you got this on. You're talking to your friends, whether it's on speakerphone or not. You can't be. You got to be aware of motorcycles. So these guys that we have, Ivan Lago is our state safety and ed person for the Chicago chapter. Goes out to the schools to give a little class at the driver's ed programs, just to make people aware. Or we can go out to senior places, because a lot of seniors still drive, but the reaction time ain't as quick as they used to be. So, but they need to be aware that we still have motorcycles out there. That's why May is our designated Motorcycle Awareness Month, because all winter a lot of the motorcycles have been hibernating because they don't ride a lot in the snow or ice. Is very dangerous. And then they go from come springtime, they want to get out there and get going. And the kids are anxious to be driving their car, their first car or whatever, and they fail to see somebody on a motorcycle. So it does happen. I want to give a little shout out to one of our sponsors here at A.B.A.T.E, Illinois, Hoopy and Abraham. They donate. Oh, they help us out. So if you okay, so moving on with that. What else we got? What else? I think that's basically what we got going for A.B.A.T.E members. Again, our meetings are at Lama. We do a lot of lobbying, a lot of events. They do motorcycle awareness parade down in Springfield in May. They have a big party, a camp out. I haven't been to that one yet. I know some of the guys have gone there, and it's a blast. Everybody goes out and enjoys themselves. It's just to make give everybody a they just give a little bit of fun for all the people who work hard in this state to get going here, to get get this work done for you, for all motorcyclists. So we do the best we can. We try to have parties. Now the Chicago chapter, we usually host a chili party. It's usually in February. So we're looking at something to do that. We're looking for the venue place. Being with the pandemic last year, it was kind of tough to hold such large gatherings. So we're looking sometime, we'll decide. If you come to the meetings, the third Wednesday of the month, we'll inform you a little bit more. If you would like to become a member of A.B.A.T.E and support A.B.A.T.E of Illinois Chicago chapter, we do have some applications. You can pick one up at the membership meeting. They look similar to this. You fill it out. What you'll get in return is you'll get an ID card with your name on it saying that you're a member of A.B.A.T.E. We do offer you liability insurance. We give you lawyers to help you out if you have we call legal services program. We have a road service program. If you break down, they can contact somebody to get you going. Membership card with patches. We have plenty of A.B.A.T.E products showing you support A.B.A.T.E and quality motorcycle events throughout the year. Again, safety and education programs, federal programs. All right. Thank you.